Hello, my name's Fred. Today I learned Abica.
Welcome to Science students watching. Smile when you remember the answer to this question. What is your heart, the blood vessels that circulates the blood through your body, made of? Or what system is that, Jacob?
Circulatory system.
Yes, it is the circulatory system. Tell me the part of your blood that enables it to clot. Kaden.
Platelets.
You've got it. What is the ability that the blood has to thicken to stop bleeding, Dev?
The white blood cells.
Okay, platelets help with this. Platelets help with
Clotting.
clotting. You've got it. What are the tubes that carry blood throughout your body? Veins and arteries are specific examples of these. Anna. Students watching? Cadence.
Plasma.
No. Plasma, it would be found in this. Asa?
Blood vessels.
Blood vessels is the correct answer. What is the organ designed to pump blood? Kathleen.
Heart.
Your heart. What cells in your blood carry oxygen from your lungs? So they're the carriers. Josh?
Red blood cells.
Good. Tell me the fighters in your blood that fight infection. Carson.
White blood cells.
You've got it. What do we call an enclosed hollow space? Jacob. Your heart has 4 of these.
Chamber.
Chamber, you've got it. What is the rhythm or beat that is felt through your skin as blood is pumped? Lexi? You can sometimes feel it in your wrist. Gage?
Vessels.
No. Arthur?
Heartbeat.
Not your heartbeat. It's similar to this. Presley? Anna?
Your pulse.
Your pulse, right. That rhythm or that beating is your pulse. How many chambers does your heart have, Emily? Carson?
4.
4 is correct. How many, Emily? Good. Tell me the type of blood vessels which take blood to your heart. Oftentimes they're colored blue because they are empty of oxygen. Students watching? Amaya? No. Jimmy? Aiden?
Your heart. Veins.
Veins is right. What is it, Amaya, Jimmy?
Veins.
Good. Which blood vessels take blood away from your heart? They're often colored red because they're rich in oxygen. Anna? Away from your heart starts with an A. Morgan? Dev?
Artery.
Arteries. What is it, Anna? Morgan? Arteries. So what do we call this system that veins and arteries are a part of? Kathleen?
Nervous system.
No, moving blood throughout your body is the? Emily? No. Adriana? It goes in a circle, so we call it it has a continuous path, rather. Anna?
The circulatory.
Yes, circulatory system. It continues to happen over and over again. So that reminds us it's our circulatory system. We are going to learn about another look at some words we'll find out more about as we continue reading about this new system called the respiratory system. Now, the respiratory system has to do with oxygen. We talked about our blood carrying oxygen. Well, how does our blood get oxygen? If oxygen is in the air around us, how does that end up in our bloodstream? We're going to find out about how that happens through our respiratory system. So we have oxygen that we inhale or we take in here, and that comes through the windpipe. From the windpipe is sometimes called the trachea, but the windpipe enters into your lungs. You have 2 of them, and then from your lungs, the oxygen is able to go into the bloodstream, and that's how the blood takes oxygen to your cells. Now, you see something here at the bottom. This is called a diaphragm. Listen and then repeat. Diaphragm. Class, repeat. Diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle, and it will pull down the lungs to allow the oxygen to come in when you inhale. Now, when you exhale, the diaphragm contracts and goes back and pushes out the oxygen or out the air that's in your lungs. And the air that comes out as you exhale is carbon dioxide. Remember, we inhale oxygen. and we exhale carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, our bodies don't need, but there is something that what in God's creation needs carbon dioxide, Presley?
Plant.
Yes, back and pushes out the oxygen or out the air that's in your lungs. And the air that comes out as you exhale is carbon dioxide. Remember, we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, our bodies don't need, but there is something that does need carbon dioxide. What in God's creation needs carbon dioxide, Presley?
Plants.
Yes, plants. So you can see that cycle even helps the plants as well. This is part of our respiratory system. Read our next phrases for us underneath respiratory system, Morgan.
Lungs, windpipe.
Good. So those are parts of our respiratory system. And here we have the
Diaphragm.
Yes, and then this is all part of this. Madison?
Respiration.
Yes, this process of breathing air in, inhaling, and exhaling is called respiration. So our readers come to be ready to read for us. We're going to begin reading on page 298. Page 298. We're going to start with our terms to remember, and then we'll read more about how this oxygen is able to be brought into our body and used throughout our body's cells. Begin reading for us, Josh.
Terms to remember: lungs, the organ in your body that takes oxygen from the air and gives it to your body. Carbon dioxide, a gas given off by people and animals that plants need. Windpipe, the tube or air hole from your nose.
The
Tubal airway from your nose and mouth that travels to your lungs.
Long I, excuse me. In banana. Okay.
Respiration.
Yes.
To breathe in or inhale and breathe out or exhale.
Long I. In banana.
Diagram.
The PH has in phone.
Diaphragm, a muscle that helps your lungs breathe in and out. Respiratory system.
Say that word again.
Respiratory system. Respiratory system.
Yes. Respiratory system.
Respiratory system. The windpipe, lungs, and the diaphragm. Diaphragm that helps you breathe.
Yes, keep using that phonics. Carson.
Your lungs and the respiratory system. God gave you 2 lungs, one on each side of your heart. Just like your heart, your lungs are important organs. With your lungs, you can get oxygen from the air around you. When you breathe in or inhale, you are taking air into your body. Air enters your body through your nose and mouth. It travels down a tube or airway called the windpipe. The windpipe branches into the windpipe branches in 2 directions to the cell. Lungs work with your heart to get oxygen.
Skip the line. Start again with your windpipe branches.
Your windpipe branches in 2 directions to get air into each lung. Your lungs then take oxygen from the air. Lungs work with your heart to get oxygen to all the parts of your body.
Good. Now pause. Let's take a look at the picture here. You see the windpipe, that's where the air enters, or the oxygen enters more specifically, going into the lungs. How many lungs do you have, students watching? And Arthur? Good. So from the lungs, that's where the blood vessels come, and where the arteries are able to get the oxygen to take that away from the heart and lung area throughout the rest of your body. So that's where those blood cells get the oxygen they need to take to the cells throughout the rest of your body. That happens here once the oxygen comes into your lungs. The diaphragm is that muscle that enables your lungs to breathe in and help you inhale and exhale. Continue reading for us.
A muscle called your diaphragm helps your lungs breathe in and out. As your body uses oxygen, it gives off a gas called carbon dioxide. Your body does not need this gas, so you exhale or breathe it out. Do you remember which living things depend on carbon dioxide? Plants use this gas in the process of photosynthesis. As photosynthesis happens, plants produce oxygen for you to breathe.
Good. Now let's pause. What does it mean to inhale? Una?
Breathe in.
Good. What is one of the main entryways for the oxygen to enter into your lungs? We call it the what, Jimmy?
Windpipe.
Yes, the windpipe. Well done. What is your diaphragm? Carson?
A muscle that helps you breathe.
Good. It helps you to breathe in and out. Well done. So it is a muscle. What is the name of the gas that you exhale? Students watching? And Arthur?
Carbon dioxide.
Right. What needs carbon dioxide to survive, Emily?
Plants.
Good. And what does exhale mean? Students watching? Morgan?
To breathe out.
Yes. Let's read more about respiration and how this process works. Continue reading for us.
Your breathing in and out is called respiration. That is why we call your lungs and body parts that help it work to respiratory system. When you are running or playing hard, you might have noticed that you breathe faster and harder. Remember, your heart beats more powerfully when your body is working hard. Your lungs are trying to get more oxygen so that each cell in your body can keep functioning well.
Good. Now let's pause. Just like we did in our previous lesson with our cardiac muscle, showing that beats harder and pumps blood faster when we're doing an activity, the same thing is true here in the respiratory system with your lungs. When you're running outside, when you're playing soccer, when you're moving a lot and it's hot out, or when you're doing a lot of activity, all of that movement, all of that activity cause your lungs to work harder. And that work is good for them. It will strengthen your lungs, but as you do so, there's a lot of movement that's continuing to take place, so it gets a lot of exercise, which is good for your lungs to get that exercise to continue to be able to function well. Continue reading for us, your respiratory system.
Your respiratory system is amazing. A man-made machine can pump air in and out, but the breathing machine that God gave you does even more. It takes oxygen from the air and gives off carbon dioxide. God's design for this exchange of gases is perfect.
Good smoothness. And just like we read from Psalm 139 about being fearfully and wonderfully made, we can see that again, that's true here with our respiratory system. An amazing part of God's creation is our human body and the ability that we have to bring in the oxygen and then exhale carbon dioxide. All part of that process that enables our bodies to work as wonderfully as they were created to do. Now, sometimes there might be a disease or a sickness or an injury that could occur, and that would cause one of the lungs not to be able to work to its full capability. Sometimes there have been things that doctors try to do to help in that situation when that happens. And as great as that technology and those inventions are, nothing is quite as good as the lung that God created. So those inventions are good and they're very helpful, but it just shows us how wise and how great God is in this creating our lungs to be able to do all of the things that He designed them to do. Let's take out a pencil and let's look at our comprehension check with true and false. Write the word true or false in each blank. Number 1, you have one lung to help you breathe. Students watching, Gage.
False.
False, because how many do you have?
2.
2 is right. Number 2, your lungs get oxygen from the air you inhale. Anna? True is correct. Number 3, to exhale is to breathe in. Cadence?
False.
You've got it. Number 4, the muscle that helps you breathe in and out is called a lung. Dev?
True. I mean false.
False. What is it, Carson?
The diaphragm.
Yes, the diaphragm is that muscle that pulls your lungs and makes them open so you can breathe in, and then closes them and helps force the air out. Number 5, carbon dioxide is the gas you breathe out. Jacob?
True.
It is true. Now let's take a look at something that we can try. So pencils down, turn the page. Continue, Aiden, reading for us. Make a model of the respiratory system.
Something to try. What you need: masking tape, 2 balloons, 2 straws, empty plastic bottles, modeling clay.
Yes, now read what to do, Madison.
1. Use masking tape to attach each balloon to the top of each straw. Make sure the seal is secure. Bend straws and tape together to form a Y. 2. Turn Y upside down and carefully lower into the empty bottle. The balloons will represent your lungs, while the straws will represent your windpipe. 3. Leaving some of the straw at the top of each bottle, seal around the top of the bottle with the clay. 4. Blow into the straw and watch the balloons fill up with air.
Now take a look at the bottom. Do you remember what muscle helps your lungs breathe in and out, students watching? Morgan? No. It's something that moves the lungs. Jacob?
The diaphragm.
It is the diaphragm. What is it, Morgan?
The diaphragm.
Yeah, so your diaphragm has an important job to do. So here we have constructed our example of the respiratory system. So we have our bottle, we have our straws, we have our clay helping us to seal off this part, and we have the balloons inside. Now, right now, the balloons look pretty flat, but we're going to goes into these balloons here at the bottom, and this is a picture or on a small scale of what is taking place with your lungs. So, Una, you can come demonstrate for us. Now, you can take a deep breath, you can inhale, and then you can breathe into the straws. Oh, pause for just a moment, all right? And face the class. There you go. Go again. And what do you see happening, Presley?
The balloons are filling up.
Yes, and the same thing. Thank you, Una, for demonstrating for us. The same thing is true what happens inside of your lungs. When you inhale, the lungs take in all of that air, that oxygen, uses the oxygen, and then when you exhale, the air leaves and the carbon dioxide comes out. So that's a small scale of what is taking place in your respiratory system, helping you breathe. Books are closed. Let's have our girls come line up, and then our boys come line up. We're going to review several things we've learned so far in our chapters. Scorekeepers for the girls team, Lexi, and then for the boys team, Asa. First 2, you can step to the middle here for us, and then be ready to give us your answers. Students watching, you keep track of your points that you get correct as well. What do we call the smallest part of the body, often called the building blocks?
Cell.
Cells. Girls have it next 2. What are a group of cells working together?
Tissue.
Girls, next 2. What is the structure in your body made from tissue designed for an important job?
Organ.
Boys, next 2. What is the control center of the body?
Heart. Brain.
Brain. Boys have it next 2. What is the bundle of nerves found in your backbone?
Backward.
Girls have it next 2. What side of your brain controls the left side of your body?
Right.
Boys, next 2. Tell me one of your 5 senses.
Smell.
Both of you are correct. Both teams a point. What part of your eye focuses the picture?
Lens.
Yes, boys have it. Next 2. What is the nerve that carries messages of sight to the brain?
Spinal cord.
Students watching?
Eyes.
It is the optic nerve. No points here. Next 2. What energy helps you to see?
Light.
Boys. What part of your eye protects your eye from dust and dirt?
Eyelid.
Yes, boys. Next 2. What are sound vibrations traveling through the air called?
Sound.
Sound waves. Girls wear hair faster. Sound energy is made up of?
Sound waves.
Moving rapidly back and forth.
Vibration.
Yes, we'll give it to the boys. Next 2. Tell me one of the main parts of the ear.
Inner ear.
Yes, boys have it. Next 2. Tell me one of the 3 tiny bones in the middle ear.
Hammer.
Both of you are correct. Hammer, anvil, and stirrup. So both teams a point. What are the openings in your nose called?
Nostril.
Boys. What are the little bumps on your tongue that contain nerves for your sense of taste?
Taste buds.
Tie. Both teams a point. What is the liquid in your mouth that softens your food?
Saliva.
Tie. Both teams a point. Tell me one of the different types of taste.
Sour.
Sour is correct. Next two. Tell me the sense that works with your smell.
Toast.
Taste. Girls. Next two. What is the outer layer of skin called?
Dermis. Epidermis.
Epidermis. Girls. Next two. Structure in the dermis that makes hair.
Follicles.
Girls. Next two. Inner layer of skin beneath the epidermis.
Dermis.
Girls. Next two. What are the glands that release moisture or sweat when you're hot?
Sweat glands.
Girls. Next two. What are the tiny holes in your skin called?
Pores.
Tie both teams a point. What are your heart and blood vessels? What system do they make up? Students watching? It is circulatory system. No points here. Next two. Tell me the part of your blood that enables it to clot.
White blood cells.
No.
Platelets.
Platelets, girls. Next two. What are the tubes that carry blood throughout your body? Arteries and veins are? Students watching? Blood vessels. No points here. Next two. What is an organ designed to pump blood?
Heart.
Heart. Girls have it. Next two. What part of your blood carries oxygen?
Red blood cells.
You've got it. Next two. What part of your blood fights infection?
White blood cell.
Boys have it. Next two. Last question. How many chambers does your heart have?
2.
Students watching? 4. No points here. Looks like, how many points for the boys, Asa? 16. Girls, you may return to your seat. How many points for the girls? Lexi?
22.
No, close. 17. So it looks like the girls just won by 1. So boys, you may return to your seat. Girls, you may give yourself a pat on the back. Students watching, how many were you able to get correct? I like how you're remembering these terms and continuing to keep up with all that we've learned so far in our chapter. You'll want to continue to review these terms so that you'll be ready for our next lesson.